Hello students, in today's class we're going to be practicing tactics, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to get to my home page. And by the way, if you don't have an account here and you want to try it, I'm leaving the link in the description, and from there you could just create a free account and do these tactics like we're going to do today. So I go here to puzzles, I click on it, and then under training, instead of rated, I'm going to click on learning, and then this is going to allow me to pick the themes that I want to practice. If I hit all themes, then they're going to give me a little bit of everything, and look how many different themes they have. They have checkmate in one move, in two, in three. They have pins, they have queen sacrifice, they have skewers. So I just want the ones that we have learned so far. So let me go here, remove this, and I'm going to go over, well, we practiced already forks and double attacks, then mate in one, then pins and skewers. So I only want this kind of tactics. And then up here, you're going to see the strength. So I'm going to keep it between 100 and 1000. If you feel like they're too easy for you, you could increase the strength. So ultimately, I want to practice with you today, but the main takeaway from this lesson is for you to learn how to do it on your own. This should be part of your training. Whenever you have a chance, you come here and you do a few tactics. So after I'm ready, I'm going to hit start, and they're going to give me different tactics. It's going to be up here, tells you whose turn it is. So you have to play as the black pieces now, and you're going to do one of these: fork or double attack, mate in one, pin, or skewer. In this one, I'm going to start on the black pieces, and I already see that I recognize the pattern of the king being alone on the back rank with these pawns in front. So I'm looking, oh, if my rook or queen could get down there, that's going to be checkmate. So I have a rook, and the first move that comes to mind is Rook F1 Checkmate. So this one's pretty easy. And once I'm done, I'm going to hit next. So it tells you here your theme was back rank, mate in one. So I'm going to hit next. And now I'm the white pieces. And let me see. I don't think I have a checkmate. This king is protected by a lot of his pieces. My queen is on the other side of the board, so only the bishop is the one close by. But what could it be? Well, I noticed that these two are on the same diagonal, and I'm thinking my queen could attack the king in one move. So I look into that move, and queen h4, check. The king has to move away, and I get the queen for free. So that's going to be a skewer. So that's my move here. Queen h4. Now notice that he blocked, but then I have checkmate in one move. Pause the video and see if you can find a checkmate in one move. Well, it's going to be only one, two, or three different checks that I have. The only safe one is queen h6, and when I look closer, I realize that this is checkmate. The queen is attacking, and the bishop is not letting the king go anywhere. So let's go to the next one, and I hope you guys are pausing the video and trying to do it on your own. All right, next one. I see my rook is aiming at the castle, is attacking this pawn, and so is my queen. So I first look at the pieces that might be involved, and in this case I have the queen and the rook working together. So we know this pattern already. Queen in front of the king with a helper, that's checkmate. All right, so we have checkmate so far. Now, white pieces to move. Again, this is pretty obvious. If you look at this pattern, the battery, and they're both aiming at g7, that's the first move that you should be looking into. So I take, no one can take me because of the helper, checkmate. All right, next. And now look at this, black pieces to move. I already know this is not going to be checkmate. Look at my pieces, none of them are developed except for the knight, and I don't think we have checkmate. But let's take a look at that knight. He's the only piece I have in my opponent's territory. So I have to look at the moves that the knight could do. And I hope you found it by now. We have a really nice fork. So my knight goes to c2. I'm attacking the king, the queen, and the rook. So knight c2 check. Now, should I go for the rook or for the queen? Well, of course we get the queen, and that's it. So the theme was fork or double attack. All right, next one. This is number 7. Let me see. Well, I see the queen aiming at the king's territory. The knight is close by, so I already found a square that both of them are controlling. So that means if my queen goes in there in front of the king, protected by the knight, that's going to be checkmate. There you go, checkmate. Next one, white pieces to move, and this time my queen is on the same side of the board as the king. I'm looking at it, and I already see two checks. So I'm going to take a look at each one of them. This one is check, but the rook could protect it, the king could move up. This one is check, and actually the king cannot go anywhere. So we have checkmate in one move. All right, next one. Well, this time my queen is looking at the king, so that would be a very nice check. The king cannot capture me because I have the rook right here. So that's going to be checkmate in one move. All right, so I'm going to do number 10 next. And let's take a look. The white pieces. I have two rooks really close to the king. Actually, this king cannot go anywhere. And I notice that they're about to get me in trouble. So I know these moves have to be about attacking the king. The king is exposed. So let me take a look. I have the feeling that this is going to be checkmate. So I'm going to look at the checks. Forget about checkmate for a moment. Just look at the moves that put the king in check. One of those checks has to be checkmate. So my rook could do two different checks. This rook could do one different check. That's it. I don't have any other checks. So I narrow it down to three different options. Let's take a look at them. So rook h8, well, the king could go away. I could put him in check again with the other rook, and then he escapes. So I don't think that's what I'm looking for. Rook g7, well, he could easily take me, and after I put him in check again, he goes away. So this rook doesn't look like it's going to help us. Let's take a look at the other rook. Well, I could go here. If I go rook g3 check, what can he do? He cannot move here because of the rook, here because of the rook. He cannot go here because of the rook, and he cannot take me because of the bishop. So is that checkmate? Well, I hope you saw that after rook g3, they could block with the queen. But I just take the queen and the game is over. So check, and then checkmate. Now, guys, I want to clarify something here. Sometimes my students, they tell me, oh, but you know what, I had a plan that I wanted to bring my rook closer and then do this. When do you see that they are putting so much pressure on your territory? You have to look for forcing moves. If you do something too slow, they're going to have time to put you in check and get you in trouble. So for the most part, we're looking for things that are forcing. So again, let me do it here, and that was a checkmate. All right, so let's take a look at this one. So here, and this is going to be the last one we're going to do, I have two interesting moves. I have number one, I realize there is a pin. If this knight ever moves, I'm going to get the queen behind. So I'm thinking, what if I attack the knight? I could do pawn to f5, the knight moves, and I get the queen behind. But I also realized I have a fork. So where can this queen go to create a fork? Well, I see the pattern, again, the battery. I cannot go all the way down because of the knight. But what if I just stop on d3? Check, and I attack the rook. So queen d3 check, he moved away, and I get a free rook. And this is fork double attack. And look, there's a pin also mentioned here. So we had to realize that as well. All right, guys, so I'm going to leave it here. And again, I don't want to do many because I don't want the video to be too long, because at the end of the day, all I need from you is to know how to get here. And every time you have a chance, if you do 5 puzzles a day, trust me, you're going to make a lot of progress. If you do more, even better. So I'm going to leave it here for now, and I will see you next class.